Hey gang, how you doing? I am here. I got my tea ready to go. It is Wednesday night and it is crazy cold outside. So, unfortunately, we have to cancel youth group. But I miss you guys so much that I wanted to do a video so that I could talk to you this week, and I think it's going to be really great. I think you're going to like it. So, let me know in the comments. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, announcement time. We're having an all-night event. We're inviting all the churches in the area to come together. Several of them have already committed to coming, and we're having an all-night event. We'll meet at the church at 8 o'clock, and we'll have registration until 8:30. It will cost $5 for the event. We'll have worship, we'll have a lesson, we'll have pizza here at church, and then we're going to get into vehicles and go to the YMCA, where we'll have a 3-on-3 tournament. So get your squad together, get ready, because you want to take home the first place medal as a team. We're going to have dodgeball, we're going to have other games, we have swimming, we'll have an open mic set up where you can play guitar and sing songs and hang out with your friends all night long. It's going to be great. $5, and that is happening January 16th at 8 p.m. and it goes until 6 a.m. You'll meet at Calvary Baptist Church. If you need transportation, sign up next week in youth group, and we'll pick you up that night, January 16th, that Friday night at 7:30 p.m. And now for lesson time. So this morning we have a 2-hour delay, as you know, and I take my kids to school. So I take my kids to school. They go to Mount Moriah out in Smithfield, and I'm on my way back. Well, I'm on my way back by Arby's, and this guy talking on his phone, like, oh my god, just pulls out right in front of me, doesn't even see me, and I'm going normal speed, so I had to slam on my brakes and slam on the horn. I'm like, honk, honk, get out of the way, and he's like, they didn't even notice. I don't even know if it was a guy or a gal or what, but they didn't even notice, and they go taking off down the road. So, of course, instantly I start speeding up because I'm going to chase them down. What I'm going to do when I catch them, I have no idea, but I am so mad. I'm so angry. I just need to do something. And so I realize they're driving too fast for me to catch them, so I speed up a little bit, and I still can't catch them. So at this point, I'm realizing, okay, now I need to break the speed limit in order to catch these people so that I can do who knows what. And then it kind of dawned on me. So, in other words, for me to be mad at them, to chase them down, I'm going to have to start breaking laws. I'm going to have to start compromising who I am as a person. I'm going to have to start taking away and changing who I am, which is a person who doesn't want to speed, wants to follow the laws, and just to chase them down. And the angrier I get at them, then the less like me I start to be. The less like the man that I want to be, I start to become. And it dawned on me, and I said, you know what? I need to talk to the students about anger and about fighting, because I think it's an issue that you guys deal with a lot of the times. I see it in school. I see it on your Facebook all the time. So I want to share with you guys some verses from Proverbs tonight to help you understand how God wants you to act and how a smart, wise Christian will behave when they're in a situation where they feel like they need to fight and they need to beat somebody down. But end of the story, I took a deep breath, I calmed myself down, and I let the guy drive off. And I just turned off down my road and forgot all about him, because it's not worth it. It's not my problem. And we'll see that in the scripture here. Let me show you that. Okay, so our first verse here is Proverbs 16:32, and this is what it says. Whoever is slow to anger is better than the mighty, and he who rules his spirit than he that takes a city. So what Solomon's writing here is that if you are slow to anger, then you are better than the strong. And if you can rule your own spirit, your own thoughts, and your own actions, then you are better than a mighty warrior that can take a whole city, like a general of an army. So what does that mean for you? Well, that means that God's definition of strength is all about self-control. God's definition of strength is all about self-control. It's all about you controlling your own thoughts and your own actions, not letting other people control those. So let me show you the next verse. Okay, this next verse is Proverbs 17:10. It says, a rebuke goes deeper into a man of understanding than 100 blows into a fool. A rebuke goes deeper into a man of understanding. We'll pause there. A man of understanding is someone who's probably worth being a friend. They know the value of friendship, and they know the value of having you as a friend. Whereas a fool, you could punch them in the face 100 times and they're still not going to get it. They're still not going to learn. So what is a rebuke? Because we're going to look at the difference between a friend and a fool. A rebuke is this. It's this tool that I want to show you on this next slide. Okay, so here's an example of a rebuke. When you blank, I feel blank. So in other words, when you post things about me on Facebook like that, I really feel hurt. I feel rejected. I don't feel like a friend when you post stuff like that. Now, you might be thinking, there's no way I could say that to my friends. They're going to laugh at me. They're going to ridicule me. They're never going to speak to me. They're just going to make fun of me. It's just going to be worse. If that's the case, then guess what? They're not a friend. They're not a friend. They're a fool. And here's why. Fools don't value friends. Fools could care less about friends. Fools don't understand how valuable you are as a friend, and that building and investing in people results in rich, wonderful relationships with people and friendships that last a lifetime and that continue to give back into your soul and help feed you. And that's how you honor God, by loving God and then loving other people. Fools don't get any of that. They don't understand any of that. They don't protect themselves. They don't protect you. They could care less. They're just going to be caught up in drama. And so if they're not willing to listen to you say, hey, when you did this, I felt this, then they're not worth having as a friend. And so you need to get away from that person. So what if you're like, I don't care if they learn a lesson and I don't want them to be my friend. I just want them to fear me. The problem is that fools don't fear. Just like a small child doesn't fear the stove until it touches the stove and it gets burned, a fool is going to be the same way, except a fool is like a dog that returns to his vomit. It's just going to throw up, and then it's going to eat it again, and then it's going to throw up, and it's going to eat it again. They do the same thing over and over again. A fool is like a child that would touch a stove and get burned and say, it hurts. And then they would touch the stove again and get burned and say, it hurts. And then they would touch the stove again. They're never going to learn. So a fool won't fear you. So the only thing that'll happen is you'll start to make the people around you that you actually care about fear you, because you're trying to become a person that gets respect by making people afraid of you. And that's not what God calls us to. That's not something that's going to honor and glorify God. It's not something that's going to produce the kind of relationships that you really want in your life that are going to fulfill you. So what do you do when you understand that a fool is an idiot, and no matter how many times you pound them, they're not going to learn? And you also know that they're not going to fear you because, like a child, they're an idiot, but you still can't control your anger. You still get mad every time some fool does something foolish. What do you do? Let me give you a tool to help you with that. All right, the verse is Proverbs 17:14. It says this: the beginning of strife is like letting out water. So quit before the quarrel breaks out. The beginning of strife is like letting out water. So quit before the quarrel breaks out. Let me show you what that means. All right, so here's the illustration. This is a jar full of water, and this represents you and your anger. And here is a lid, nice little lid, okay? Some of us think that when we get mad and we flip our lid like that, then what's happening is we're taking the top off of our anger, and that we get to choose, how much we're going to flick at people and how much we're going to control it. So we can scoop it out and we can dish it out at will. But that's not how it works. What Solomon was talking about when he wrote Proverbs is when you start a fight, it's like letting out a little bit of water, and it's more like this. So let's hope this works. All right, so here is anger. It's not coming out. The bowl is dry, as you can kind of see. Let me pull this up here a little bit. You can kind of see there. There's no real water in there, which is pretty cool. But if I were to let a little bit out, there you go. You can kind of see it there. I pick it up. Well, it won't come off. Nope, because it's going to take me a good bit to blow my lid and get mad. So, but if I try to let just a little bit out, I can't let a little bit out. There, a tiny bit comes out. But the more I let out, and now if I pick this up, the water is going to go everywhere, all over my desk. It made a huge mess. It's not a good situation. And I'm going to turn this off and go clean this up because it made a huge mess. Too much. Oh, it's getting on my phone. Okay, got my desk cleaned up. My pants are a little wet, but I think you guys get the point. You can't just let a little bit of anger out. When you start to pull this up, then all the water's going to come out, and you're not going to be able to control the flow of it. It's just going to get everywhere. It's going to make a huge mess, and it's not going to be what you wanted. And you're not going to be able to control it. It's not going to accomplish the thing that you thought it would accomplish. And there's one other thing I want you to take away from this. If you'll notice, what's inside the jar now? Well, it's not water, that's for sure. And the thing is, when water comes out, what's it replaced by? Well, if you pay attention in science class, you know that it's replaced by air. The water escapes, the bubbles go up, and it's replaced by air or nothingness, emptiness. So when you let anger out, you're letting emptiness in. You think, if I let this anger out, then I'll feel so much better. But what happens is when you let all this anger out, not only do you make a huge mess, but you're left feeling empty inside. And I want you guys to get this, because Solomon is smart. Solomon understands if you mess with a fool, then they will mess you up. If you mess with a fool and you think you can control your anger, you think you can teach them a lesson, you think you can show them something, it's not going to work. So the best thing to do is to walk away, to just let them keep talking. You're like, I can't do that. If I run away or walk away, people are going to think I'm stupid. So what you're saying is that you care about what an idiot thinks about you, even though an idiot is going to think stupid things. A fool is going to think foolish things. You shouldn't care what they think about you. You should walk away and let them continue thinking whatever they want to think, just like Jesus did with people that accused him. He kept his mouth shut. He didn't answer their claims. He just let God control the situation. And that's what we need to do. I want you guys to think about it next time you're in a situation where you feel like you're going to lose your temper. Are they a friend or are they a fool? If it's a friend, then share a rebuke with them. Say, hey, when you did this, then I felt this way. And I don't appreciate that. And if they're a true friend, then they'll say, I'm sorry. And they'll try to fix it. They'll try to change themselves because they want to be your friend. If it's not a friend, if doing that sounds like a ridiculous thing, then they're probably not a friend. They're probably a fool. And you shouldn't waste your time with them. Remember, when you let anger out, you let emptiness in. And we want to honor God by the way that we handle our anger. We'll talk more about that next week. All right? I love you guys. Stay warm. Don't forget about our all-nighter coming up, not this weekend, but next weekend on January 16th. I will see you next Wednesday, provided that it doesn't get too cold. All right? God bless. I love you guys.